And good morning, RPG Limit Break fans. We have had 5 weeks of the Fabul Gauntlet. Our Swiss round is complete. However, for 16 people, those long weeks isn't the end of it. There are 8 matches this week. To find out which of those 16, 8 of them will go through to the bracket stage. Maggie the cat is on our tracking today. Zimbu is on the restream. My name's Poidrak. I am here with Bahamut. Do or die. That seems like the name of this game today, doesn't it?
It does, and good evening to you too. Very interested to see how this goes because, like I said, only a few spots left to go to our bracket play. So, we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a cane start. The flags today, they are the same as the Swiss round. We haven't changed it up for this playing match. So everything you saw before, if you were watching before, we're going to see some more of it. However, random objectives is exactly that. We could see a lot of things happen.
Exactly, and I know one thing that always people look forward to is some complicated thing like missed at element spot or some boss objective at the first spot and Tower of Zot. So hopefully we'll see something interesting.
Yeah, the fan favorite at the moment is Fabul Gauntlet at Pogo spot, or music required.
Oh, I would agree with that for sure.
One of the ones I've been seeing a lot is just complete antlion caves, so I'm hoping we don't see that. And why do I get the feeling of deja vu?
What, did you play this one similar or comment on one similar?
No, our earlier race today, which is currently going on Free Enterprise channel, also had a Yarn Cane start.
Nice, and I see that we did get a hook seed, so we'll see if they try to find a magma key or prepare to go down the.
Yeah, just because we've been given the hook doesn't mean it's a guaranteed hook seed. The magma key could still be in one of the boss spots up here, but we're just about to find out what objectives we've got. I saw Launch the Falcon, so that one's already done.
Oh, very much so.
Pogo, Dark Imps, Super Cannon, and Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, I know you didn't mention Ogopogo earlier, so we get to see Ogopogo in some form.
Yeah. So essentially, we need one key item. It could be except for moon access to get to Zeromus. The only key item we truly need, because we've already got the hook for underground access for the objectives, is that tower key.
That's very right. So that could really make this potentially a jet seed or extremely long, depending on how things like.
Yeah, it all depends on where that tower key is. It could be squirreled away on the moon. It could be behind a keychain, which is really, really long. Or it could be right there in Baron Inn, just waiting for them to pick up after they finish that boss fight.
Yeah, or even just, I would think it could even be in Antlion Cave, even like, boom, there you go, got everything. Get down to that ground and you.
Yeah, the true sort of, even though we're talking about having that tower key, the one big thing about the objectives things is boss hunts. We've got 2 boss hunts, so we could be looking in there's 34 or 38 boss spots in total. We could be looking in all of them for just those 2.
That's very true. We could get everything except for those boss, and that could be the last thing that we're looking for.
Yeah. Already, yeah, so
one thing I did note. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
All right. Something I noticed that BG Rich picked up, and Mechalink is going to get here too, is I saw curse ring in the treasure chest up here, so that'll definitely help out potentially with the anchor.
Oh yes, Cursed Ring in this game at the moment is probably the most powerful item you can get, considering it's cursed. What Cursed Ring does, it minuses 15 from every stat. Why would you want to do that, you say? Well, agility. Agility in this game is based off of one person's stats. In vanilla, it's Cecil. In Free Enterprise, under these flag settings, it is the center character. Slow them down, and you make everyone else, including your other characters and the enemy, faster. Why would you want to make the enemy faster and also your characters? Well, the quicker everyone goes, because this game is based on ticks of game memory and game RAM or whatever. One tick equals one action. Berserkers love that.
Indeed, so it is an often strategy that people will use that curse ring if they can. I do see a potential split in strategy here, because I think bgrich was in the Anti-Light Cave, and Mechalink is doing some.
So it's a little, interesting little split here. The shopping versus item checks. There's not too much difference between the two, unless you spend too much time doing your shopping, and because everyone wants to have a look at these shops anyway. They're looking for items in those in the item shops. They're looking maybe for a few extra bits of equipment, and it's mostly the item shop I feel you should be looking into.
Yeah, that's true. There's certain items you mentioned, like equipment or illusions, or usually it's good to find some extra life potions or cure potions. So it kind of depends. Sometimes the runner might just check a few, or take a risk, or someone will check them all. So that can split things. Not too much, but it can.
Yeah. bgrich went down into the Antline Cave, went to the boss, and saw it was Golbez, and reset out. I feel that's a little bit of a mistake, because Golbez the Dark Dragon will reduce your party size down to 2 by killing off everyone else. He currently only has 2 new characters, so the Dark Dragon won't kill anyone. If he can and get those Star Veils up, that's a simple fight.
Exactly. I was going to say that's a perfect number of characters, and I'm not sure about that boss spot if there's much, out magic offense, and probably not. I mean, it's a low level spot anyway, so it shouldn't have been that difficult to take out.
I'm getting that deja vu again, and that plagues on Hobbs. That's exactly where it was on the other race. What the heck? Simbu, have you been in converting? Convorting with Daphus again? Please say no. We only need one Daphus. But bgrich is now going down, checking the character in the hook route. Because it is behind a key item, it could be Fusoya. Edge is in the bed, so it's unlikely we're going to see a duplicate one, but there's always the possibility it could be one of them.
And it looks like it's a Porum. And hey, that's good. She doesn't get as much HP as Rosa, but if you're good at doing big bang nerfs, she's plenty good enough for endgame, so it's good to have.
Yeah, Porum's stakes in the current patch have increased greatly, because early source of Berserk gets it a few levels before Rosa. Yes, late game, she's going to fall behind a little bit, not having that HP growth. But a white mage is a white mage is a white mage.
Exactly, very much so. And it's interesting how both her and her brother, learned some spells earlier than their other counterparts. Like I know Palamo is called the Quake Kid because he learns Quake a little bit earlier than Lydia, so he's often really really good for.
bgrich is making a very early dive here. I think he might be wanting to see what this blue robe is. Is it Warthag? Is it the Fabul Gauntlet? And sort of hoping that the boss before is free.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If this could be a really good play, especially if you said the first boss is not difficult, it could get underground much sooner than Mechalink.
Yeah.
It's a bold play, Cotton. We'll see if it plays out for him.
Yeah, this spot, this King Queen Evelyn spot has very high physical stats and is very very fast. So it's going to be interesting where if this works out, because he's base levels. He hasn't gained a single point of experience yet.
Oh man, so it pretty much has to be almost free for him to be able to get through this. And if it has any kind of, if the boss is any kind of physical attacker, he's not going to.
However, this is a play-in. This is you need to do something. And okay,
There's a water hag.
We've got double blue robe.
So that means the other one's going to be alt Gauntlet, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've got Water Hag in King Queen Evelyn swap. This, I don't think he's going to get through this because, as we said, this is a very fast spot. And very hard hitting. Yeah, 3 punches and he's out. However, he now knows that it's essentially free to get through this once he's got a few levels under his belt.
Yep, so that's definitely, even if he doesn't go, looks like he is going to know about. But like I said, it's very good knowledge that he'll know exactly what he needs to do so he can go down.
Yeah. The only small issue I have with that is that it took a bit of time to get down there for no real payoff. He's now having to walk all the way out, and he'll have to walk all the way back in later.
That's true. There was no exit spell or items.
But this is a play, and sometimes you have to make those gambles. Those perfectly reasonable. Or he might have been thinking, and I applaud him for it. If it's free, I'm through, and I can get some decent levels down below, such as with sirens, decent level or equipment or items. Yeah, just to get started.
Yep. And it does look like Mechalink is taking on Golbez, and something actually I'd forgotten for a brief that with the basic starting kit, you actually do get a few Star Veils. So another reason, don't worry about Golbez. You can take them on.
Yeah. And Young does start off with a Fire Claw. Golbez is weak to fire, so that's a little bit of a boon for him.
It does look like bgrich is taking out at least one of the bosses here to maybe get a couple levels.
It's the Mist Dragon spot, so it won't give enough experience to level up any level 10 characters, unfortunately.
That's true, it's not much.
If they were level 5, they might get 1, but level 10, I don't think it's even half of a level. Actually, it might be half because 1000 gets it from the Antlion spot, so yeah, probably about 70-80% of a level.
And Michalink's going back to do some shopping.
strange that there hasn't really been a whole lot of checks. We're 13 minutes in, and really the only thing that's been done is the Antlion Cave on Mechalink's side. Everything else, there's nothing. They're playing it very cagey.
That's true. I just kind of realized that. Yeah, neither of them have gotten to the Fabul and ordeals. Makes me wonder. Maybe they're not sure, what they want to do, or if they're trying to decide if they want to take the hook or not. Maybe a little indecisive.
Yeah, bgrich is now going for the Octoman spot. Again, nothing that really gives progression, and this spot for the base levels can be difficult. Odin in there, I think this isn't... Well, Kane might survive it, but I don't think he'd survive the actual Odin attack. So again, I'm not too certain what the goal is here.
Looks like Mechalink is going to at least go find out what the character is, and we'll see if he goes as far as bgrich did to see what the bosses are.
Yeah, that is true. There is 2 bosses we're trying to find here. So, yes, that is a possibility. That was the goal.
And also Mist Dragon too. I don't think we've seen Mist Dragon.
Yeah, of course. Mist Dragon as well does have a key item or potential key item available.
So Eleanor from our audience was asking what the requirements before launching a Falcon is. Well, Simba just answered. Get the hook, basically take the hook all the way down, and then you'll get the Falcon when you enter the...
Yeah, the Falcon is the red ship with the drill on the front, eventually, in the vanilla game. It comes with the drill attached because we don't want people messing around with anything like sprites or anything like that. So you get it straight up and able to go over lava and do whatever you want with it. The only thing it can't do is carry the hovercraft. That is reserved for the Enterprise only.
So it looks like Michael's going to get his Palom, and we'll see the blue robe there, and see if he decides to go see what bgrich did. And then if he does, then they'll really be... I'd definitely say they're pretty even right now.
Yeah. No, if he goes to check who the characters are, he might get through the water hack based on just the number of characters he's got. He's got 4 characters now, rather than the 3 that bgrich had. But I wouldn't see him getting through the Gauntlet after that without some levels. No, he's just exiting out. He's bought a few exit potions, using one of them, getting out of there, and likely going to head probably where bgrich is right now, which is Fabul Castle.
I think that is the next logical play. Get some levels. It does seem like they kind of both want to hit the hook as soon as they can. They need some more levels first.
Yeah. Oh, maybe going to Baron instead. But bgrich actually has done the sort of play that he probably didn't expect to work out, which is get him through and get him actually fading that antlion check. Since we know it was a protect thing, he skipped out of it. So as long as he doesn't go back, there's a check that just won't, will be fine for him, that he doesn't need.
Right. So now we got Ashura. So the basic strat is to cast reflect onto Ashura, but there's also that other strat. If you don't have Star Veils, we can get her locked into casting Life 1 over and over. We'll see which one bgrich does.
Dr. Luge in this spot is actually fine. As long as you don't take too many hits from Balnab, this spot doesn't really have enough to defeat him, I don't think. And because this is fairly slow spot, but the the big attack, which will be the laser, won't come out as often, so you're easily able to keep ahead of the healing. Everything else is done by magic or percentage-based damage, and that's really he's got plenty of hit points to survive that.
And I did see Mechalink did throw some vampire items, which definitely are pretty powerful early game. And we got twin harps, so we will probably make it some music here.
Music could be interesting, and it's another chance at maybe the magma key with both the Fabul, Gauntlet and Warthag at those spots, and the Falcon being an objective. They wouldn't want to hold it off too long, but an easier path into the underground will mean extra levels, which means they'll get through the hook route quicker.
It's true, and looks like bgrich got a life staff, which would be, unfortunately, not a key item, but still it is the most powerful healing staff, which would be definitely a nice spoon for
equipping up his mages a little bit more, just to back row glitching them for some reason. I don't know why you'd want them doing anything but using arrows or throwing dancing daggers or casting spells, but well, maybe you want them to hit occasionally. bgrich looks like he's done with the ball. I think I missed the key item there, but it doesn't look like he got anything that is actually lit up on his tracker, so it's not progression in any case.
Oh, are you referring to the Fabul castle?
Yeah.
That was the life staff.
Good for Porum.
And looks like Mechalink is going to take the dive down the hook here without doing ordeal.
Might be wanting something that's in that cat claws. Don't think there was really any need to actually buy one from that, but if it helps him get through this, that might be good for him.
bgrich just taking on the inn. Oh, that's right. The inn was the twin harp. So let's see. We should be able to get through Baron in here. We'll see what he does after here. If he decides to go, the twin harp or ordeals or the.
Yeah. This hook play on both sides, even though Mechalink has a few levels under his belt now, he's going to be happy to see. Well, I don't think he's actually going to be happy to see the Warthag in that first spot, because he'll then know it's the Gauntlets at the second, and he will think, can I actually get through that? Five fights against enemies here without having anything really to stop them might be a bit difficult to deal with.
That's true. One nice thing about the Gauntlet, it does, I believe, spread out all the HP among the 5 fights. Sorry, and he's doing some leveling with the Mad Ogre, so get a little bit of a boost from.
Because the Fabul Gauntlet is slightly isn't affected by normal boss rules. Every fight will give you the normal experience against.
Oh, you're right.
Against them. So if you fought the Fabul Gauntlet in a non-experienced spot, you'd still get the experience from those fights. And since they are fights here, they'd actually be fairly lucrative in terms of levels. So if he can get through 1 or 2, it will just help him get through the rest.
That's true. I forget. Yeah, if we were not doing the alt gauntlet, I think the HP would be spread among the 5 fights. But because it's alt gauntlet, it is based on the enemies that are nearby and the experience that they give.
Yeah, and I believe the first fight up against the Fabul Gauntlet in this area is a egg. So if you can get through that egg for the first infusion of experience, it won't be a whole lot, but it'll be something. It might just get you through the rest. I think the worst fights will be the ones against the conjurers and swordsmen.
Yeah, so hopefully he can get that through that first one here, and I wonder where bgrich is going to go to now.
Looks like Ordeals, which isn't a bad play. He knows that it's the alternative gauntlet at Rubicante now because of that early dive. So he's probably thinking, it's going to be I can get through it, but it's going to be a bit of a pain if I don't get a few levels first.
Exactly, and still we do have 2 boss objectives to get through, and that's 3 checks up here in Ordeal.
Oh yeah. This is a very good check for bosses. 3 fairly easy spots all together. Yeah. We could be finding any of those 3. Any of those 2 objectives.
I was going to say, well, what if the Valvalis is in the second spot, but we have a cane, so that doesn't matter.
Still would be pretty rude, but yeah, with Kane that should be easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
So Mechalink is through the war tag. Now is staring down the Fabul Gauntlet. And imps are on Ordeals. So objective number 3 is soon to be lit up by bgrich.
There is Valley on Ordeals on our seat tonight.
That could be a long time for Mechalink to get back to, unless a Teller or a Cecil come early.
That's true. That might come back to bite him, even if he does get to the hook.
Yeah, the only reason I see him going back to that at the moment is if he doesn't get through this. But if he doesn't get through it and it's taken this time, this is going to put bgrich at a good advantage.
Mm-hmm. And I just reading, Simbu made a good point. It's something that's different about this Fabul Gauntlet versus previous tournaments is because these 5 objectives, previous tournaments, people would tend to skip Ordeals a lot because it takes a long time to get one key item that may or may not be useful. But because we have these, kill these bosses or get a character, Ordeals becomes a lot more lucrative. So people tend not to skip it as much as they used to with this flag set.
Yeah. Opened up the Lamia egg, so this is the first real test. Got through it with a couple of jumps from Kane. That Lamia has around about 1,500 hit points. So it takes a little bit, but he got through it. Now can he get through the rest? This is the dangerous one, I feel. These Blademen, and they hit okayish, but they also counter with virus on physical attacks, so you don't want to be hitting them.
So kind of similar to the Lunar Dragons, you want to try to focus with magic, unless you know you can take them out with a physical.
Meanwhile, bgrich has found everyone's favourite CPU.
Speaking of the reflect, is that do or other abilities like jump and Yang's focus, does that get around the reflect, or does the reflect still?
It does get around the counter because it's a counter script and counters don't get it actually used when on anything except fight.
Gotcha. So that's one thing I love about those those extra abilities.
So if he can get through maybe 2 of them like this, and just letting now getting his characters up before the last one goes down, this is going to be a little bit more of an infusion of experience.
Yeah, if he can survive.
I think he might want to get some Cure 2s out though to just pick up Sid so he can take maybe 2 hits.
Looks like bgrich, and thanks to our tracker, I believe he got the Luca key from our Margot deals here.
Luca key, you never really want to see it because it's a pain of a check. There's no guarantee of it actually leading to anything good, and if you do get it, you've got to fight the boss, which could be annoying. But we've seen before, Luca Cave does have value.
That's true. It seems like the times you do check it, it doesn't have value, and then when people don't check it, that's when it has value. But that's how things go.
Yeah, like every chest you don't check is an adamant armor, even when adamant armors aren't on.
Yep.
So bgrich is getting through that. He's going to be happy with. I think he's going to be happy with his levels now, and will probably be acing that Fabul Gauntlet very soon with his team. So we'll probably be seeing them tying up very, very soon. Mechalink is now on the grudges. The 3rd fight in this Fabul Gauntlet.
Just barely hanging on.
Yeah, I hope he's got plenty of life potions because if he can get through to the next one, that he might struggle a little bit more because I think the next one is the conjurer with the 2 swordsmen.
They're taking advantage of, when Kane's by himself, but at least when he's on a jump, he can't take anybody else. So that's a help possible. And just briefly, it looks like maybe bgrich might give us some music. I know he's probably doing some shopping, but since he's up here, maybe he'll head up north.
He may well be here for that particular reason.
We hope so. We want our music, don't we?
Going to be having to wait a little bit longer while he checks these shops though. He might have seen those illusions and thinking, but no, decides against them.
Oh, the suspense.
Is saving, so that seems like a good sign. Yep, he is on his way. So the twin harp check is just about to happen.
Sweet, he's going to become our people's champion, I believe is the right term.
Yeah, Mechalink's through the 3rd one. Again, a little bit of extra experience.
Indeed, right on to Mechalink, hanging in there.
And yeah, Sorcerer Blade, man. This is going to be the true test of this. The first 3, the first one easy enough. Second and 3rd one's difficult. This is the one where things could go wrong.
Sounds like you've had some experience with this particular Gauntlet.
Sid definitely did a number on that Sorcerer though. If he can keep Sid up, Sid and Kane up, I think he can get through this.
Yeah,
Because because the last fight against this is an egg. It's a green dragon egg. So he'll be able to get his characters up again if necessary, to give them the last bits of experience from that last fight. But this is definitely must be nerve-wracking for him just trying to get through this.
I definitely would be if I was him.
Meanwhile, we're going to be quiet and wait for this music to play because Edward has some funky tunes for us.
Enjoy the music.
Battle with Magus from Chrono Trigger, and a free fight.
Oh, very nice. And I was going to say, Battle Magus is one of my favorite songs from Chrono Trigger, so it's awesome to hear it inside a free enterprise.
I think most important, well, the music is the most important, but the second most important thing is that Mechalink is actually through that what we thought would be the decider here. Onto the green dragon. Yeah, the green dragon's here. It's going to do a little bit of damage. Young's going to head down, but this jump should finish it. Yep, and he is through the hook route. No problem for Mechalink.
Great job by him. He almost wiped a few times there. Was able to push through it. But Simba did make a good point. It did take a little while, so hopefully he can speed things up and take on some of the underground.
Yeah. I think the bonus for him is that he's sort of already decided that he's not going to ordeals in his mind, I feel. And so he might skip on that altogether. And also on Twin Harp. Problem is, there's two there's two objective things that are required in both the Dark Imps on Ordeals, and the Tower Key is behind music, so required music today.
Yeah, I saw that.
So bgrich is in a very commanding position, I see here. Heading up to Tower of Zot?
I just wondered that too. Yeah, is he gonna check the boss spot, I guess? Maybe because he's already there, might as well go check it quick.
It feels odd.
Checking for DMS, or we still haven't seen Ogopogo. You know, and since, like you said, this is a do or die battle, you know, check those odd checks that people wouldn't usually check. Maybe they'll...
I have seen in this first spot be Ogopogo on a couple of occasions be an objective. So if this works out for him, brilliant. If not, he's just going to probably reset back to the bottom of the tower and head elsewhere.
And since I would say he has a little bit of a lead right now, even if it doesn't pan out, he's not going to lose too much time.
No, he's going to get through that Fabul Gauntlet fairly quickly. Much quicker than Mechalink did. Mechalink now is looking to regain that time with that single siren. Just broke that for a few extra levels, and is likely going to start on his checks down here now.
And unfortunately, no value in Zot. That looks like he's going to take it on, though.
Is he thinking that he's got the Earth Crystal?
That, or maybe he thinks that he could take an Octoman out quickly, get a little more infusion of experience.
Yeah, that does seem more likely, doesn't it?
Because like me, I can understand maybe getting he's confused with each other, but there's only one crystal. Well, I guess two crystals that we would be worried about. You're not going to confuse a crystal with a key.
He might be wanting to check the character behind it as well, because you get through this boss, you can at least see the first character. So he might be able to use that knowledge later to say, Earth Crystal has a character I want. Maybe sees a Teller or a Fu, and thinks, oh right, Earth Crystal, there's a way for me to grind easier.
It's true, and it looks like Mechalink found the rat tail, and yes. Is this even randomized, Simbu? Come on.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt at the moment. It is only the first instance of non-randomization.
And also,
apart from his sort of Daphus impersonation with the characters and Plague earlier.
And also, I'm going to say, Simbu seeds are supposed to be pretty difficult, and this doesn't seem that difficult yet, so I'm kind of disappointed.
I like to think Simbu seeds as healthy trolls. There it is. As I was saying, healthy trolls. He missed at the king of the summon monster spot. You don't want to get into that fight anytime soon, because it's fast, it hits hard, you're not going to do too much damage in between its mist forms. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get through that. Not right now.
So I spoke a little too soon. Touché, Senbu.
Yeah, bgrich is through the Octoman fight. I'm not sure if he checked the character behind. Right, so because I was looking at Mechalink at that moment, but if he did, he's got that knowledge for later.
It looks like Mechalink did validate the C, but I did not see the text there fast. And of course, Bahamut is required because I am commentating, although I'm not tracking. There's a difference. We'll see how required that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, there because you can see the boss in the second spot in the Dwarf Castle. Dwarf Castle is the objective today. He was going for that knowledge as well. Seeing through there was just a bonus.
That's right. That's why somebody was saying that. Gotcha.
So Fu and seeing the second boss in Bahamut in the Dwarf Castle. Yeah, that's very nice knowledge. That means if you've got an Earth Crystal, you want to go and do that. And as long as you can get through the first boss in Dwarf Castle, the second one's free.
Yeah, well played.
And Mechalink is just about to go and check that first boss. So we're going to see what our requirements for this objective number 5 is very soon.
Simbo's comment. OgoPogo, but then there's value, which is good for me, though.
Could OgoPogo be here, though? Or is this going to be a double dragon attack?
Oh, it is a sparkle.
attention.
It's pilled him.
Well, technically you class as a dragon, so we can still call it a double dragon attack.
But there's no Billy or Jimmy. Where are they?
They're still on the moon waiting.
Wrong game too, I know. I had to.
Bim,
He said
Bimmy
double
and
dragon,
Jimmy-
I had to.
Yeah, Bimmy and Jimmy are the red and blue dragons anyway, so they can only be on the moon.
That's fine.
bgrich is just about to go up against his old arch nemesis here, and is likely going to get through this water hag a lot easier. Actually, just going to get through it.
I do like that his old nemesis, because yeah, he was here earlier. It's like, I've got you this time. I think Mechalink's gonna have no problem here as long as he gets he's getting blinks off, so he shouldn't have a.
Yeah, this spot does hit fairly hard, but with Blink, you really don't care about physical attacks. And with Quake, he's going to be in that deep ravine very, very soon. Now, does bgrich go back and save?
It does
Yes,
look like
he
it,
does.
yeah. Maybe I think he might be okay, but I don't blame him because in case it doesn't work out and saves a little bit of time having to go through water hack.
Yeah, this is going to be a long investment of time no matter what. So he's probably just wanting to take it a little bit safer.
I don't blame him.
Mechalink is being given the good news that Bahamut is waiting for him, as is a second Kane.
Ooh, double cane. Let's see if he takes. Oh, he did take him. All right.
Interesting. It's not really a surprise that he's taken him over Sid. This just makes it a very interesting combination of a team. Having two Kanes, we haven't really seen a whole lot of equipment for him in terms of weapons, but he does have a lot of weapons available to him, so this actually might work out fairly well.
And Kane, especially with the right weapon, can do more damage than Sid, and he has many characters to use that curse ring on later on if he wants.
bgrich is now on the third fight with the three Blademen. Is berserking up Sid. We already know that they're going to reflect on counter. So this could be dangerous for him. Virus on counter. So this could be dangerous for him. But his levels look good enough.
We get the Baron key for Mechalink. So, it's potentially valuable because there's 2 boss spots and a character check.
Yeah, we already know the first boss isn't Pogo. So this is down to 2 bosses and 2 key items. But it still opens up the seed a little bit. And keeps him away from the bosses down in Land of Summoned Monsters.
Indeed. And we'll see. It looks like he's going to do a Yang 1 check and maybe be throwing back above ground.
More importantly, though, for Mechalink, it takes him further away from ordeals and the Twin Harp.
This is true, but I wonder, since he is doing a quick check, usually I would think people would check that if they're going to go up above ground. So maybe if he's going to go above ground after this, maybe he'll do one of those checks. We'll see.
Well, he doesn't actually have anything on the underground now, since he doesn't have the Luca key, which is from Fabul, was it? No, from Ordeals. Doesn't have the tower key, which was from the Twin Harp. So, yeah, he had to go up above ground. There was nothing left for him.
Oh, this is true, unless he wanted to do Keyless Tower.
Or the Land of Summon Monster bosses, which I wouldn't recommend.
Right.
But Leviathan was in the Asura spot, so that's not too bad.
So maybe because of those bosses being really difficult down below, maybe he's got, because he got the Baron key, right? So he has several choices of above ground that he could do.
Mechalink is going in, has done the Rivers McCown special and is now going to face Asura to get his life staff, and then we'll likely be seeing Sheila after that.
Well, it'll be interesting if Sheila provides value. Like, what if she gives like Darkness Crystal? Could that, turn Mechalink to go to the moon?
That would probably be the worst thing for him right now.
It would be, yes, but you do kind of wonder these possibilities.
And the reason why I say that is because we already know where Fu is. We've already seen a dupe. We can't have a duplicate Fu. We already know where Edge is. So, the only characters on the moon at this moment in time are the possibility of Cecil, which wouldn't be too bad. Rydia, which I don't think anyone's going to take at this point. Edward, or probably the best case scenario, Teller.
True. And looks like it wasn't. Looks like it was a defense sword, so don't have to worry about that possible rabbit hole. At least at the moment, rabbit hole.
Defense sword with 2 canes, that's very good experience.
Mm-hmm.
And defense sword going on one, that ogre axe on another. It's not the greatest damage output right now, but it's good damage output.
So if you're a Mechalink, what would be your next play? Assuming you don't know about, somebody you don't know have knowledge. Sorry, go ahead.
Without our knowledge and just the way he's been playing, I would say Baron is going to be his next play. Because he's already decided against Ordeals. He said no to the Twin Harp once by not going there when he got it. He's just got that Baron key. That would probably be his next move.
He does have the rat tail. That's true from Simbu. But I kind of wonder. I do what you mean, but like he said no to Ordeals once because of previous flag sets that we've done tournaments on. That's kind of sometimes that kind of sticks in your mind, like, oh, I didn't do Ordeals. I'm not going to do it to Ordeals until late game. But maybe that'll change. But it looks like he's checking some boss spots though first.
Yeah, checking these boss spots. He still hasn't transferred from the Falcon to the Enterprise, so the rat tail, he may have forgotten it. He shouldn't have, because it should be on a tracker of his. But until he goes to that Enterprise, he won't be checking that rat tail, which does seem to be where he's going now, though.
There you go. Somebody also makes a good point. He's already seen D-Mist, so he's looking for Ogopogo or the Dark.
Meanwhile, bgrich, having that tower key on his possession, having seen the boss at the top, which I believe was a brand of Mylon, he's going straight up. Package from the rat tail does have a boss behind it.
That's true, and I have seen it be valued before on the race.
That does limit his options now to what we said. Again, back to Baron, Ordeals, Twin Harp.
I think he might be right about his next play.
Valveless, Oh no, this is the cannon room, which is a required objective as well. So valveless in that spot, fairly simple. Takes it out easily. Will likely be heading up to the top because he had to do this anyway. Might as well do it on the first route. Definitely a fairly nice spot to see Val.
Oh, she could be in much worse places, and he's going back down because I don't think he's taken on the bots yet.
No, he's only doing a half tower play. He's only doing the early. He's doing the half tower play you don't see very often.
I was gonna say that seems kind of backwards. That's usually the other way around. You check the boss if you don't have the key, not the other way. So interesting play. He's kind of counting on, since he knows that boss is an Ogopogo, he's kind of counting on and hoping that isn't, the darkness key is, or darkness key or pan that he's counting on. It's not one of those two.
Yeah. There's always the chance that it still is, and he'll come back to it later. But this could pay off for him. If say a Earth Crystal, oh, that's Fu.
Oh, that's true. But I forgot about Earth Crystal. So we'll see if it's kind of a probably low chance that's going to be something important, but you throw in the Earth Crystal though, that might hurt.
He's going straight back up. He wants that Fu. He's going in. He's beelining it to Tower of Zot. He knows Fu's there. He's going for it. He doesn't care about the Dwarf Castle right now because he knows once I get Fu, everything else becomes easier.
Oh, I just realized was the Earth Crystal when at the end when he left. I missed that. Okay, yes, I totally.
Earth Crystal from on the Tower Key.
I missed that. Gotcha.
And yeah, that knowledge that he got earlier is paying off for him. Because without that, he probably would have done it the other way around, going to Dwarf Castle, making the other checks in the underworld first before going to that Earth Crystal.
That's very true. And looks like we've got the other Mylon Z at the Baron Cave.
So if my memory is correct, and it was a Mylon up at the top of the tower, that means it's the easier version of Mylon, which is Mylon Classic. They're both fairly simple fights. Mylon Z only punches you and maybe poisons you and maybe curses you. But Mylon on Classic has 4 ghasts, which casts a very weak drain and counters with Lit 1.
Yeah. And Mechalink makes a quick work of Mylon.
And Mechalink is seeing Rydia in Baron Castle. I don't think she's going to be taken.
Aww. R.I.P. Rydia.
As much as Rydia has her uses, I believe at the moment she's seen. I think she's seen in the more of the Sid capacity. Early game with decent spells, namely Sylph, she does work. Anything a little bit later than the mid game, she sort of falls off at the moment.
That's very true. That's a good point. I think only time that she may be valuable if you do intend to level her up to nuke.
Yeah, and most people don't see that at the moment because they'd rather use her as a late game anchor situation to speed along their Zeromist fights. Mechalink did find the Darkness Crystal though, so it wasn't exactly where you thought it would be, but it's there.
And we got Wyvern at the Valhalla spot.
This is okay. He's got a Starveil up. He's going to be fine now. This is always scary because you have to go through a cutscene before fighting this fight, and if it's Wyvern and she gets a jump on you, she hurts, as you just saw on 3 of the characters and herself. But if you can get through it with a Star Veil like that, you're fine, and he is on his way with a Fu in tow. I think him having Palom in the middle actually helped a great deal, because Palom is sort of the slowest character, maybe barring Sid, so was able to get those Star Veils up fairly easily. Might even have that curse ring on Palom right now.
That probably, yeah, because that is one tough thing about Wyvern is you want to have your anchor well enough that you can pull off a Star Veiler.
And rewarded with the pink tail. Not really essential for him, but he's going to go and check that. A decent weapon for Kane would be nice, and if he's going to find the rat tail later, this is just preparation for collecting that key item as well.
That's true. Not too much time usage here.
We have seen some very good items come from this pink tail. Avengers, Excaliburs, White Spear with Kane, yes please.
Nice. Value in the pink tail tonight.
And we have already seen that there's 2 Kanes in this. So a White Spear and a Defense Sword Kane. I'll take that a lot, most times of the day.
Oh, me too. That's lots of DPS right there.
As always, still needs levels and still needs everything like that. But he's not going to be hurting for that because he's got Fu, he's got ways to grind. We haven't. I don't think we've really made a big check for Sirens. I think they're on the moon, and which Mechalinks might find soon. There's a Lunar Bard, but I don't think he's going to be wanted.
I'd probably say that bgrich is probably got a lead here, though. But I think one thing that Mechalink might help is I thought he was going to do some moon bosses. I was going to say if he did some moon bosses and Ogopogo is on the moon, perhaps a Bahamut spot here. If he finds Ogopogo first, that will may help him out a little bit.
Yeah, only Hourglass is on the moon, so Sirens are hidden.
But Mechalink might know that there are places that you can grind for double dragons. double gold dragons. This is one place right here. He turns on. Oh, I didn't see. What was the Bahamut?
Oh, Bahamut is DKC today. I think this won't go well for him. I think this is a fairly high damage spot.
Well, let's gonna give it a shot. Oh, might survive the second one. Nope.
Oh no, yeah. Yeah, that's... If you want a pain man, you just found him. If you don't want a pain man, well, he's found you.
Yeah, there's no option there. And he's doping out of the moon. One thing I want to say about Pain Man is, like, a true Pain Man is having the boss flag on, such that you have to actually kill rather than go through the script. That's a true pain.
Yeah, and you sort of have to get through, and it's doubly worse if it's an objective as well. So, but luckily, that's not an objective today. It's not a boss we need. He's more than happy to leave it, and he is going to ordeals.
All right. Good for Mechalink.
Yeah, so he's going to be happy that he's going to find the Dark Imps up here, but he's also going to be probably kicking himself a little bit because he could have made this check a whole lot earlier, made it a little bit easier to go through the hook route, and get an objective done.
Indeed, but it's going to get undone, which is still going to probably be a little bit relieved.
BG Rich has found the problem with Dwarf Castle if that dwarf gets ahead of you.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what value could Bahamut be that would give, another potential boss check. And I don't think there is. So I don't think there's any value in Bahamut this seed that I can think.
The only thing it could be is a key item that could lead to a boss, and the only one that's actually there isn't one that's left.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was thinking. I was trying to think of one. Like, I don't think there is.
Yeah, there is nothing. There is no value in that because we already know where. Maybe the only value would be a sand ruby, the 4 edge, but that would be very situational.
Yeah, but no true value, unfortunately. But it's okay. I'm not tracking, so it's not against my streak.
Yeah, but we've seen someone attempt the boss there.
That's true.
And got thoroughly thrashed by Dark Knights. No, Renlaw, it cannot be the crystal. The only way you can get the crystal with objectives being on is by completing all of the objectives. So, launch the Falcon, defeat Ogopogo, defeat the Dark Imps, destroy the Super Cannon, defeat the bosses of the Dwarf Castle. All 5 of those will give you the crystal automatically. And BG Rich only has 1. Only has to find Ogopogo.
Just have to find Ogopogo, and he's gonna check Luca because he doesn't have the Darkness Crystal yet. So, and I don't think he's done Baron yet. So I guess he's gonna check out Luca quick.
He has done Baron because
he's done
that objective. So he must have that rat tail. It was rat tail behind Baron, wasn't it? Sorry, behind Dwarf Castle, wasn't it? Oh. Or was it Baron? I'm completely screwed.
Help us out, Maggie. Help us out, Maggie.
Baron Key was at Dwarf. Okay, so doing the Baron Key would lead to the Darkness Crystal, and Rat Tails in Land of Summon Monsters in the vanilla chest. Don't know why I was forgetting in vanilla because. Yeah, but yeah.
We got a raid from Free Enterprise. Welcome everybody for some more Free Enterprise action.
Because, as PK would like to say, the only real solution to cake is more cake. Welcome to the middle of our BG Rich versus Mechalink. I think we have an interesting seed today. A BG Rich made an early has made early checks of both the hook route, which we started with the hook today. Found out that it was first Water Hag and then the Fabul Gauntlet guarding the way to the underground. Also made an early check on the Tower of Zot before getting the Earth Crystal and saw that Fu was there as well as seeing Bahamut was the second boss in the Dwarf Castle, which has been an objective. So everything has sort of lined up for him. He's had that knowledge and moved on with it.
It looks like we do have a Legend Sword at Lucas spot here, and he's not loping out quite yet because this could be Ogopogo, and it is not Ogopogo. But let's see, and he does know about.
It's a free fight. I think he was considering that and getting the experience from that.
Mm-hmm.
But with Fu, I don't think it would have been a good idea to go through that because you would have still had to get out of the thing.
That's true.
Yeah. So, yeah. And for the people that have just joined us, the objectives: launch the Strauss Falcon. We started with the hook. That we know how they got underground. Defeat Ogopogo. We don't know where Ogopogo is at this moment in time. Best bets right now is he's on the moon. And defeat the Dark Imps. Dark Imps were on Ordeals. Ordeals was left by Mechalink for a very long time before, and he did it after he went underground. So he's a little bit behind in that check, but he has gone up there now. Destroy the Super Cannon. Super Cannon was behind Music, and Music was and Mechalink has faded that a little bit. Defeat the bosses of Dwarf's Castle. They were Peldim and Bahamut. Where was Darkness from? It is in the Baron bin. So really, Ogopogo is the biggest question mark we have at this time.
And like I said, probably the moon, but we haven't checked behind package. He could be in the capital.
Yeah, package is still open. It's not the bosses down here in the Summon Monsters. The Mist Dragon is there. Unfortunately, he can't have progression today. And Leviathan being the other one, they're not required at all.
He's open out.
As we see the Mum Bomb in the Baron and King, the Odin spot, the Baron Underground. Moon's the only thing that's left.
Yeah, and so bgrich might be recognizing that you should only check the spots that he has a key item that he hasn't looked at yet, because there's nothing else that he doesn't have. So there's no reason to take out those bosses in the underground.
Yeah, and we already know that Painman and Dark Knight Cecil is in the Bahamut spot and thoroughly made mincemeat of Mechalink earlier. So we know it's in the actual underground. So Peldin spot, Wyvern spot, Plague spot, D-Luna spot, or could be Vanilla.
That's also true. It looks like Mechalink did check the Odin spot and didn't see what the boss was, but he did get a Stardust Rod, so no Ogopogo there either.
So here's the question next. Does he go to the moon, or does he go to the correct place, being the Twin Harp?
It's looking like Twin Harp here.
Twin Harp is probably the easiest play here, because he doesn't know this, but we already know that it is the tower key. The tower key is required, and from that he's likely going to be seeing, oh, moon, I need to go back up to the moon.
Yeah, it looks like he's changing out the items so that he'll be all metal, so he won't have to try to kill himself to get through the first part of the first boss here. Because if you're all metal, that means you'll be you won't be able to fight and get to the Edward spot or Edward's cutscene.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of speed tech to just get you there, get you through that fight, that initial cutscene fight a little quicker. It's not a great deal. It's probably maybe 30 seconds to a minute, but in a race that with this much on the line, every second counts.
That's very true.
bgrich is just going to go through Yang and completely skipped on the person that was on the throne. this shouldn't be too bad. He's got Fu, who was in the Tower of Zot. One nuke, this should be over.
Poor Yang gets nuked in the face.
And he's going to be receiving his Darkness Crystal. Then I think he's... after he's got his Darkness Crystal, he's going to see that there's no more progression, more boss progression items. So he's just on literally a boss hunt. And he's going to go to the moon. After checking in the Barren Throne down below.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
There is a place where we've forgotten about our bosses. Giant.
Oh, that's right. So someone earlier in the chat said that, and there are 2 boss spots there. So they very well could be there too. Ogopogo at Elements? Ooh, yes, please.
I'd rather it sort of be in the CPU spot, because the CPU spot hits harder. It doesn't have as much hit points, but it hits harder in that spot.
Well, this is true, but I was thinking more of the more hit points and having to deal with more weight.
Yeah, but having probably levels at that point, you're going to have the Cure 4s to heal through that.
That's fair.
A punch for 2,000 or so hit points, on the other hand, yeah, that's a little harder to keep ahead of if you're being punched every second or two.
Ooh, is that CPU spot fast?
It is fairly fast, yes.
Okay, I was gonna say you got Fu, so you do have Blink, but if he's fast, it might be difficult to keep up with the blinks.
Mechalink has received his tower key and is making his way down there, likely next. bgrich, as we expected he would, is going to go down and check that Barren Throne.
Don't you see the lower Babel boss when you go down the hook? Or am I thinking of a different boss?
Yes, you do. And I do believe if he go over and check it, so he did see it, that it was the other Mylon. As we've seen Mylon see, he should know that it is Mylon Classic up the top.
Gotcha. So really there is no value at lower Babel.
No. Of course, he doesn't know if it isn't the Earth Crystal or not, because the Earth Crystal is what you get from when you leave this tower.
Yep. Well, that boss check going down the hook, that is something that I myself need to do better at checking. It cost me a little bit once on a racer.
Yeah, it's 2 additional steps. 4 additional steps, because you need to go 2 to the right and then 2 back to the left.
This is true. You just got to remember to check it. It's like,
yeah.
When I go down the hook, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get my ship and get going. I don't think about looking up to the right.
Yeah, the only times you won't go to the right is when you're trying to go to Zeromus very quickly. bgrich did reset out of Bomb and is heading up. Now the question, is he going to go to Giant first, or is he going to go to the moon first?
You know what? Because this is...
That's not Mylon.
Oh, it's not Mylon.
That is the Baron Guards. So, my bad.
Well, it was blue, purple-ish. It's okay. I'm not going to say it because I wasn't even looking at any. But as for your question, is he going to go to Giant? I was going to say, because this is do or die, I'd say there's a chance he'll go to the Giant first.
There is. There's more bosses on the moon, though.
This is true. It would go against logical progression, but this is do or die. You take chances.
In this case, I don't think so. I think you go for the stats. Six bosses versus 2, and you're just going to reset out of them anyway because you're going to do a grind. You can do a grind on the moon as well. I think the moon is the logical play here.
Oh, very much. I was just saying that it definitely is a logical play, but if you wanted to go unlogical, or like, what if it wasn't a Giant? Then you might get a payoff. But logically, yes, you would do moon first.
Do you check the pan even though it's not objective related? I would not. But we do know that there are some equipment options still out there. What people would want, I don't know.
Options, and also like encounter. Do we have 10 items yet? Because that could be a motivation to get a little more key items if they're not.
bgrich does. He has 10 exactly. And I think Simbu has actually given us one of the very rare sirenless seeds under this flag set. So we might... That was the other option for going to Giant for a D-Machine grind. But they have found one or two sirens, and he he walked straight up to Dark Knight, looked him in the eyes and went, no, and it reset right out.
Well, don't blame him. I mean, one, it's pain, man, and also, since you just need to go Pogo, we don't need any more key.
So there's the hourglasses. The other option is that he could do is just turn on encounters on his walk down. Do the moon bottom up, just gaining experience on the way down, using those hourglasses, hoping he gets some decent options as his fights.
Oh, this is true. He does have hourglasses, which can help, and there is that level that I forget exactly what the number is. There's an open area that there's a good chance of gold double dragons. You could try to grind for them there.
Yeah, I believe floor 4 is probably the best one, because with 10 key items, if you find good amounts of sorcerers, sorry, not sorcerers, the warlocks, which are a possibility on that floor, and also it's also a floor that does have double or gold dragons on. That would probably be the best floor to do this on if you're just going to turn it on encounters. Because 3 warlock fights with 10 key items gives 100,000 experience without doing life glitches.
Oh, very nice.
That
Even the warlocks do that.
Yeah, that is one of my favourite grinds actually at the moment, because warlocks are susceptible to a whole lot of things: mute, hourglasses, death, stone. My way of dealing with them is have 2 people on relative 1, throw a mute bell, stone them with the second person, and you don't have to deal with their fires, and you get 100,000 experience. You don't get the life glitches, but nah.
Oh, very nice.
It's still, if you do 5 of them, still 500,000 experience in 4 minutes.
That's good to know. I didn't know about that kind of strat. I like it. I'll have to think about that in the future.
But that is sort of specific to this because you do to get that fight consistently. You do it is the siren fight. So
Oh yeah. It looks like Mechalink is checking the Luca key. Is going to find out, unfortunately, that there is no value in here.
I think this is his last spot before he finds out that it's on the moon as well. So he's going to be up there a little bit later than bgrich, who is just headhunting right now. He's reset out of the Paladin spot, is on his way down.
I think Mechalink still has to do the Earth Crystal, though, I think, right?
Oh yes, he does, doesn't he? He still needs to go and get his food.
Yep.
And resetting out of the King Queen Eblin. Again, it's an easy fight with a fair amount of experience, but you don't really want to deal with it when you're only wanting one boss.
Yep. And it is interesting with if Mechalink does follow and bgrich footsteps, bgrich is still in the lead, so that means if Mechalink wants a chance to winning, then hopefully he would want to hope that Ogopogo is in the giant or the package.
And he's heading back to the moon. Hasn't gone to Earth the Tower of Zot with handing that Earth Crystal, which does give either Fu or Teller, or both. So he's going to be coming up here with less options in terms of his team, but it has caused him to catch up a little bit.
This is true, because Fu is on the Zot, but there was no progression of the Zot.
Vanilla D Lunas. Is Ogopogo going to be vanilla as well?
It's increasingly chancing like that, isn't it? It's like bgrich is gonna go check that right now.
I think the reason why he hasn't done any grinding here is because he doesn't know if giant is required. This is going to be his validation here. Do I need to grind here, or can I go to the giant? And he sees that's Mylon, so he's going to do his grinding on the giant likely.
But he still has to check the Wyvern spot, though, I think. That's the last one.
I thought he'd done that on the way down. Apparently not.
Gonna crack some eggs, or not eggs, but I think about cracking eggs when I see the sirens. Gonna use the sirens here and get a nice chunk of X.
Yeah, he's got 4 spots left, as Simba was pointing out. 1 in 4 chance that this is at the bottom Wyvern spot.
I don't think I've seen Kanazo either, so that's still in this mix. Kaizo, or Kanazo, sorry, could be at the right.
Kenyatso is interesting because in the giant he's a pain.
Exactly, I know. I was about to suggest what Ralphian just suggested. Kanazo at elements and then Ogopogo at CPU. Now that would be
That would be a giant to remember. Not because of its simpleness, because how bad it is going to be to get through that.
bad but entertaining for us.
Mechalink is following in the footsteps, just headhunting, checking all these boss spots, trying to find this Ogopogo. A few steps behind bgrich, but definitely right behind.
Indeed, if he's able to take out the bosses when he needs to, he's not. He may not have to do the Earth Crystal, so he's back.
bgrich is done with the 2 sirens and is heading back in. Levels are high 30s, so didn't exactly gain a great deal from that in terms of power. So might be looking to these boss spots to just give him a little bit more.
Or not. Because I figured, since I don't think he's checked Wyvern spot, I figured he would have gone to the save point at Wyvern.
Yeah, that's why I thought he was going to do a little bit more. Oh, he's got another. He's got another siren. Okay.
Maybe Fu ran out of MP.
Why would Fu run out of MP after a single siren? Unless he didn't use weak.
That's true. Oh, maybe he was using nuke, because I was going to say...
Oh, Simbu's just confirmed that he was using nuke instead of weak.
Ah, there we go. That would cause it then. Because yeah, you should be fine without having to save in between. Does look like Mechalink is taking on the Lunars here, but I was gonna say, oh, he did. I didn't see that he did pull off the reflex to reflect the frog back on them.
He got one. The thing he needs to do now is just attack the frog.
Yeah, it is a nice strat. Doing the reflex strat has made the Lunar a lot easier.
Yeah, he's now attacking the one at the back. That is not the correct one. Oh, is he jumping? If he attacks the one in the front, this will be fine, because the one in the front will try to cast wall, and then the wall will whiff, and the one at the back will just cast virus on the frog until the frog dies.
Oh, very nice. But looks like he's trying to take out the non-frogged one first.
Yeah, this is that's also a possibility, but it will just give you a bit more time to get your characters up without having to worry about any attacks from the D-Luna.
And there we have our Ogopogo at the Wyvern spot.
So, yep, him doing those sirens was definitely the correct thing to do there.
Definitely, and he might be at high enough levels to be in go mode after he takes out Ogopogo.
Yeah, reflecting nuke off of Starveil on Sid, so not having to deal with those blaze counters. However, Ogopogo is wanting to say, whatever your hits can do, I can do them as well. Hitting for thousands on back row people. Yow.
Yeah, it is a high physical offense spot, isn't it?
Yeah, because Wyvern doesn't use physical attacks, the programmers decided, let's give it as high attack as we feel like. So they decided to put it in around about the 200 range.
So it won't be super easy for bgrich here, but he's hanging on.
Yeah. Though those illusions or blinks will help a little bit. But the waves are coming thick and fast along with those big punches.
And unfortunately, he won't. Looks like he probably won't. He won't be taking out Ogopogo on the.
There's one D-Luna down. So only the frog left. It took a little bit, but this fight is now firmly safe because a frog doesn't really do a whole lot.
Indeed. That'd be a very nice big injection of XP for Mechalink here, because see his levels aren't that high.
Yeah, he still does have his sirens available if he wants to use them later. Magma Key and the Bahamut. Well, there's a wonderful way underground that you don't want.
Gotta love when that happens backwards. And it does put him at 10 key items, so we'll make those sirens much more valuable now.
He actually had 10 key items already. He's now got 11, so it doesn't really change a whole lot for him. He may be using this as his grind. He did use a siren on his entry into the underworld on an egg, so he might have used both. So that might be why he's not able to use them now and use that for experience.
Gotcha.
bgrich has everyone blink now. This fight should be a lot easier to manage.
I say Simba must be still sore from having to give me a cookie last week for I was tracker and I had Bahamut as there was Valley Cape Bahamut for the 4th time in a row, and he didn't think there would be. So he must be getting back at me.
Well, Simple doesn't like to be wrong.
This is true.
And bgrich is through Ogopogo. Go mode is his. And because we don't have the pass, he's just about to get the crystal, and he's already on the moon. He's pretty much ready if he wants to go at these levels. The question is, does he want to go at these levels? Or does he turn encounters on? Or do the dealers?
It looked like at least looking at his HP, it looked like it was pretty good. So if it was me, I might go for it.
He does have a fair amount of hit points. He's got a high hit point team with Kane, Yang, Sid. However, if they're not sort of level 40, 45-ish, they're not really going to be doing the damage output that you need.
This is true. Mid 40s, that's not too bad.
45. I'd actually say he goes.
It looks like he's prepping for it, and he does have that. Did he equip the curse ring yet?
I think he's had it on Palom for a very long time. So it would not be surprising if he goes like this and just... If he's got some Barkus wines, that makes it easier for him. Having Fu's already got MP issues just casting Cure 4. You don't want to have him casting Berserk at the same time. Especially as a lone white mage.
Right.
However, that is pretty much his own thoughts. As for us, we're just about to go into the Romus fight. We don't put him anywhere else because it's Zeromus, he's the final boss, he's there for a reason, he's not exactly easy. We do something different. Bahamut, would you do the honours?
Whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
Always the question of the hour to 2 hours. Or occasionally over 2 hours if the seeds are real jerk to you.
Because as a lot of guys know, one of the flags we have in Free Enterprise is the Z flag, which randomizes the Zormus sprite to lots. I don't know what the exact count is now, but I know it's a lot. And Scarlet Kitty, who's been a great artist, has created them for us. So let's see which one we have tonight. Is there a particular one that you're looking for?
I'm not really too particular with them. I just want to see ones I haven't seen at all or very often, and just for the sake of variety. A new one would be very nice to see here. There are a lot of them we haven't, and no one's ever seen, because there's just that many.
That's true. That is, I have definitely not seen them all.
Cubimus.
I'm not sure what's that from. Do you know?
I want to say a Lufia game.
Doesn't seem that's from Lufia. It kind of looks like something from an anime.
Madoka Magia. Okay. Anime called Madoka Magia. So, yeah, it's an anime. I haven't seen a whole lot of them. No wonder I'm not really seeing it. But that, you know what? That's too cute not to be evil.
Well, sometimes the most cute things are the most evil. I mean, it's an anime, so of course that's going to happen. And Mechalink got his own crystal, so he may have to get some more levels, but he's not too far behind bgrich here.
He has done the fight against the D-Lunars, so he did get that 200,000 experience infusion. So his levels might be looking okay as well. Problem is he didn't have a whole lot of people up at the end of that fight.
That's true, so you didn't get much experience out of that, unfortunately.
And the other issue is, if he's wanting to go into this Arome's fight, with Porum you're going to want her at level 48 for Cure 4. So he is going to need experience here, in some way.
Right, so that's an unfortunate thing since he doesn't have Fu, and I think you said that he might not have any Sirens left.
I would be very surprised if anything, he has one. Red Giants aren't what you want to see. Red Giants are probably the worst experience out of any of the trap chests here. Yes, you can live glitch one of them, but I think that only still gives about 60,000 hit experience, and when you can get 100,000 plus with almost every other one.
Yeah, this is true, but maybe he's hoping that since this is a trap chest, there's a chance for a nice item that might come out of it.
I don't think you're going to really find anything that's good for this team, though. You already got a White Spear defense sword for the Canes. Yang, you don't really need equipment for.
Right, and I think Palom has the Stardust Rod, and Palom should have the Life Rod. It's good.
Yeah. The only thing you could get out of this is armor, but even that you don't really need armor for the Zeromus fight.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. So. It does look like bgrich is having no issues with Zeromus here, going very easily to this fight.
Not yet, but this is still early days. He's still only hitting for a couple of thousand at most. Heck, even Palom is getting in on the little mage knife action, mute knife action, and just to buffer those turns, get a few more points of damage in.
That's fair.
The biggest asset that he's got here is his hit point total. Kane can survive most big bangs. Sid and Yang can survive all big bangs. As long as Fu can keep them topped up on hit points, and they keep chugging that wine, he will get it through it eventually. It's just not quick.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like he's just doing the physical thing, isn't he? I don't think I've seen him do any special.
No, the only thing he's cast is Cure 4. And with this team, I don't blame him.
Yeah, so this...
maybe
this is a long
slow
fight.
as well. Yeah, slow as well, but this, I think it's mostly to just nerf some big bangs.
Mm.
Which, again, with the hit points, Fu is at risk of big bangs rolling high and doing a lot of damage.
Big Bang has nerfs. Well done. Because I was worried about Yang there, because he was already...
Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, the only other thing he needs to really watch out for is his MP total. Or without MP, Fu's pretty much a mop.
Yeah, and I don't know if he has... I think there was an elixir, but I wonder if he used it, or maybe Mechalink used elixir. I saw someone use...
There's a black hole, so he's got a little bit more extra time to make sure Yang's healthy enough. Kane is definitely the one you want to keep attacking though. Kane's doing the most damage out of all of his attackers at this point. I mean, Yang's doing okay damage, but he's not really breaking 2,000. Kane's doing something like 2,500, so you really want him doing it, doing the damage consistently.
Indeed. And looks like Mechalink is having some trouble with Blue and Red Dragon here.
Yep, Bimmy and Jimmy are taking names again.
Well played. What you were saying earlier with Fu being the only healer, he's been doing lots of Cure 4s. I hope he has some ethers, because he's going to run out of here if he has.
Yeah, he did have a Ether 2 that he used earlier, so I think he's got 1 or 2 more.
That's good. That may be enough to get him through.
Yeah, I think that most you'll need 2 Ether 2s on this type of strategy with this type of levels, so he should be fine.
And then we have rocks.
Yeah, his hit points are way high enough. Kane is going to get through this eventually. Sid's helping, Yang's helping. Yeah, this just looks like the end of the fight now. And there is the flash. bgrich has made it to the brackets. He was our winner today in 1 hour 46 minutes and 2 seconds. GG to him.
GG to bgrich.
And we're going to see if we can get him in for an interview and speak to him.
Hello, bgrich. GG's, man. Congratulations.
Oh, GG. Thank you.
So, the first thing I need to ask you. Early hook check. What was you hoping for down there?
I just wanted it to be playable. I mean, I figured I didn't want Ogo to be in that spot because then that would require an early grind, which would be really hard. But then when I saw one blue robe and then I went down and I saw the other blue robe, I was like, okay, let's measure to see how much damage it does. And it whooped me that first time, so I just went back up to the overworld. And then I think I ran into, I'm trying to remember if I ran into Golbez before or after that, but like the first 2 stops or 3 stops I made were all disastrous. Like I wasted time at the vanilla D-Mist spot as well. But after that, I was just like, I just have to be decisive and just start picking stuff and go in there and then just clearing it out as fast as possible.
It kind of seemed like both of you guys were kind of doing that. You were kind of poking around a little bit here, poked at the hook, poked at a couple of the places. So Mechalink was doing that too. So both of you guys were kind of doing that, not really deciding which direction.
Yeah, that threw me off. That goal was at Antlion Cave, because I know some people skip Antlion Cave to start, but I was like, with these flags, you really got to check everything, because it's, I think it was at least one boss check, 2 boss checks. So, I mean, that requires pretty much checking all the boss spots.
Yeah, and you reset out of that and never went back.
Yeah, once I realized that, I was like, okay, well, that as long as I can get access to the moon or get the pass, then I was like, well, then that's a non-essential part of the game. And so I was just like, I don't want to waste time with the cutscenes and stuff, so I just forgot it. I was like, never mind, I don't want to go back.
Yeah, I just realized now you never went back to finish. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it definitely worked out for you because it wasn't required. It was only a protect ring today, so your sort of feelings were correct.
Yeah.
The other interesting one is after you went to Twin Harp, you went up to Zot. We assumed that it was just a bottleneck, and then for Ogopogo, for Ogopogo at that point.
Oh,
but
so
then
what?
You check the characters. So, the character and the boss behind it. So, what was you thinking there? Just information?
Yes, because at first I was like, okay, let's see if Ogopogo's at the Maga Sisters spot. And Ogopogo wasn't, but I was like, well, this is, I believe it was Octomammoth, and I was like, that's a pretty beatable boss. I was like, let's fight it. And I was like, well, I may as well check the characters, and then I can also see who's in the Golbez spot. And as soon as I saw Fusoya was there, I was like, well, if I get Earth Crystal, I'm going right back and trying to get him, because I was like, if I can just use his nuke the rest of the way, I'm going to do that. And I lucked out, and it turned out in, I believe it was the Tower Key, the Super Cannon room, which was also a required objective. And once I saw that, I was like, okay, this is my route. I've just got to bulldoze through with the nuke and keep using the Cursed Ring and just play around with agility and stuff and just keep playing with that.
Yeah, definitely all lined up for you. Having that early knowledge just helped your decision making make that be a little bit easier. The other thing that sort of helped you is that you checked Ordeals early and also Twin Harp early, so you had those 2 requirements, Dark Imps being on Ordeals and Twin Harp having the Tower Key way before Mechalink had them. And because he actually did an early hook play as well, did make it through, but had a lot of difficulty with the actual Gauntlet at Rubicante.
Oh yeah, that Gauntlet was weird, because I figured the eggs weren't going to be that bad because it would just be dragons or whatever it would be, and then I forgot that those swordsmen or whatever cast virus, and I was just like, oh shoot, I should have been using Toad or something the whole time, and didn't even think about it. And then of course Palom I think he had a Cursed Ring at that point, so he kept getting knocked down. I was like, geez, like hopefully my Zerk stuff won't cause me to wipe there.
But thankfully you got through, and what's interesting is that Mechalink ended up not taking Earth Crystal, so he didn't get food, but he did skip part of that. So you guys you were still in the lead the entire way, but you did catch up some by not doing Earth Crystal.
Oh yeah, I think it was something where for me I was like, I pretty much, and I think I do that a lot, where it's like if I know Fu is possibly one of the characters in the seat, then I pretty much, if I see him, like I'm playing him like even more, because I know a lot of people will play Edge or they'll play Rosa or Kane, and I was like, for me it's usually Fu. Like if I see Fu, I'm taking him no matter what.
Yeah, I do too. I love me some Fu.
So, real talk now. You've made it through to brackets. What are you thinking right now about that?
Oh, I mean, the honest answer is I'll probably get whooped in the next match, but I think it's just something. It's an honor to have even been in line to play for this one. That, I mean, I had some. When I looked back at the people I played, I did end up playing, I think, including Mechalink, I think 3 people that have played in Highway to the Zima Zone in the past, because at first I overlooked it and I was like, I forgot Iker was in there, and so I was like, well, I guess, like it was strength of schedule wise, it didn't look the best because people lost some key matches, but I think it was a good tournament where I think everybody got good matches, and I think I was just thankful that it went in my favor 4 times out of 6, and that's puts me through. But I know that there's a good chance I'll get my butt whooped in the next one.
There are a lot of big names. Yeah, I'm there as well, and I'm petrified of who I'm going to fight. I sort of know who I am going to face. I've got one of 3 people, and I'm not looking forward to any of them.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
I think I've got a possibility of Moonblaze Wolf, Error, or Big Dunker.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I'm in sort of the same situation as you. So I know exactly where you're coming from. Just looking at who the possibility people are there, and just going, okay, what do I need to do to win this? Because something's got to give.
Yeah, well, I think some of it too, and I know Poitrek, you beat me in a lot of friendly community races and stuff. So I mean, anyone can win on any given day. I think it's really just if it's something that you're familiar with and you can play the angle that you want, then you can pull it off. Because I know, like this one, for example, I know Mechalink's pretty good, and so I was like, well, I just can't make big mistakes in this one. And I know I did that in my last match with Woobear, where I was fighting bosses to try to level up, stuff that I didn't need to do that weren't like main objectives or anything, and it cost me. I mean, like I know I probably would have still lost by like at least 10 minutes, but I ended up losing by like 45 because I was just dabbling around, not knowing what I was doing. And so this time I was just like, just stick to the objectives, and then if I have to be under leveled and fight Z, I'm going to do it. And so that's what I did.
And that's what you did. It took a little bit longer since you just had. I think mostly it was at Yang and Kane fighting, but it was slowly but surely.
But with no sirens available on this, you sort of had to just take what you had, and you ran with it, and you got the win today. So very well done, and it'll be good to see you in the brackets, and who knows, play the seed and see how things go, and you might win.
Yeah, and I need to practice those new flags too, because I haven't even looked at them yet. So whoever's got the buy of this round, they've probably been practicing for a couple days already, so they have a head start on it. I'm going to have to learn the next flags.
Do you have any last words before we let you go and recover from this?
Oh, no, just thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you guys and everybody for doing the restream and the broadcast and everything. And I know it's been kind of crazy in the world these past few weeks, and hopefully everybody is just safe. And it's nice to have stuff like this where we can step away from the stress of life stress or whatever, and be able to just relax for a couple hours. So I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you for racing, and congratulations, GG's again, and good luck in the bracket.
GG's, thank you.
That was bgrich, our winner today, and moving on. We shouldn't take anything away from Mechalink, though. This has been it's been a typical Simbu seed. You think you've got it all handed to you, then he pulls the rug out from underneath, and you see it for what it is. And we've seen it for what it is. It's been a bit of a hunt for things.
Very much so for that last boss there. I mean, thankfully, by the time they just had Ogopogo, I think neither of them, needed that many more items. They just pretty much just had to check the boss spot, so that helped.
Mechalink, though, into his Zeromus fight, he's swinging away. That Yang is actually doing very respectable damage. Level 46, so only one level extra than BG, but the damage is very, very telling. And he's the highest damage dealer in this, 3,000. My only thinking is that he's got a something like a cat claw or two on him. We did see him purchase one earlier, so I don't think bgrich had one of those.
Oh, it looks like I had also a power robe. That's helping Yang a lot there.
And Palom is not the Quake kid today. He hasn't really done too much in the way of casting. In the Zeromus fight, both with bgrich and now Mechalink, Palom is the Berserk kid.
He is. He was Berserk and bgrich, and Mechalink is also berserking him for that Berserk strike.
So, Palom, for once, showing his versatility in what he can actually equip. Ooh, Palom taking that nuke. Survived.
But the Big Bang is going to finish her off if it doesn't heal her. If she doesn't heal herself.
And she's the only one that's actually available to do any sort of healing. Everyone else is currently very angry. So you're sort of hoping that she can get these off.
Ooh, nice clutch move there. She got it off.
Yeah. I wasn't too certain if that was a direct nuke or a counter nuke. I think it was a direct one. So we are in the phase 2. So we might be seeing rocks, or we might be seeing Big Bang into rocks, which I think he's got enough hit points to survive, but it's going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the Big Bang. There goes Palom. There goes Palom. Everyone else is really angry. So unless a black hole comes out to do that, to get them out of that angry state, this could get close.
There's a black hole, so that should stop them from being angry.
It does take a turn for them to get out of their angry state. And here come the meteors.
Ooh.
Everyone survived it. Does he have... He has an elixir. He just threw that on Yang, didn't he? Yeah, that was the perfect person. Yang's got the most hit points. He's been doing the most damage. With another Barkus wine, he should be now getting 2 hits between every meteor. So there should only be 3 shots at most, 2 likely.
Yep, there it goes. There's the flash.
Yeah, that was a very, very heads-up play. Knowing he had that elixir in his inventory, throwing it onto the correct person, and getting that berserk going again on Yang, finishing up this seed with a time of 2 hours and 53 seconds. And I do believe we've just been joined by Mechalink. All we can say is, unfortunate that you didn't get through today, but very well played on a tough seed.
Thank you.
Yeah, GG's, and we were just talking how you ended there. You had rocks, and you had only a couple of people up, and you managed to throw an elixir and a Bacchus wine onto a Yang there. That was really well played because you just had to do a few more hits and put everything on him and finished him off. That was very.
Yeah, I mean, I played that seed tight on resources, and like I knew I could get through everything I did. It was, more or less, it was just I never did it fast enough.
Yeah. Speaking of speed, Fabul, Gauntlet, and Rubicante, you went early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't think the HP totals on the monsters were quite as high as they were. And so when I did the Gaia drum and it didn't kill them, and then a follow-up hit and it didn't kill them, that's when I knew that the HP totals were going to be too high and this was going to be kind of painful. Because
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah,
really interact with those monsters all that much.
Yeah, you whittled it
Right.
down though, and you did get through, and you was the first underground, but it directed you away from two very important places, being Ordeals and Cave Magnus, didn't it?
Yeah, Ordeals is not the issue, but Cave Magnus was. If being willing to do Cave Magnus that early basically streamlines your underground routing, so you know. But
Had you
I wouldn't have done Magnus anyway, so
had you already made the decision that you were going to fade both Ordeals and Cave Magnus unless they were absolutely the only things you had left?
oh no, like I did them well before they were the last things I had left. It was a matter of rerouting, right? Like it was a matter of I don't want to do these now, but I'll gladly do them later when I can tear through them. CPU at the back of Ordeal's spot is not a good fight, right? Like that is absolutely a terrible fight, right? Like, for example, right? Like
There's worse ones, but
there's worse ones, but it's slow, right?
That's
Like,
fair.
CPU is always slow, so yeah, I completely
Yeah.
understand.
my
that.
CPU wasn't slow, right? Like, and that's kind of the point, is right. Like I was gambling that I could take by getting underground, right? Like if I found sirens underground, the game would have been over, right? Like for example, right? Like the shops had nothing, right? The shops had absolutely nothing, right? Like if sirens were underground, the game was over because I crack more than one egg, right? Like I tear through everything else. I don't have a problem with my XP on the moon, right? Like there's a much better odds that there's sirens underground than basically everything else that happened in that seed, and there wasn't. And
no sirens anywhere. It was one of those seeds.
Yeah.
So one of those few seeds that don't have them.
Right, and that was it. Right, like I mean, I made a calculated gamble that like pays off in the majority of situations, and it didn't work, and I died. Right, like, and that's like, and the flip side is if sirens are down there, right, like I'm 10 minutes ahead, and right, like, and I don't have any problems killing anything for the rest of the seed. Right.
So
like,
yeah, I can see.
That's fair.
Like I mean,
you were just thinking about.
You have to think farther ahead when you're doing gambles than just like, oh, like this, right? Like a gamble is a whole line of play, right? Like it's a whole series of choices, right? Like
It's like you're playing chess.
and not necessarily just chess, just in general. Just like you're making that choice, right? Like I was making a whole bunch of probabilistic choices, right? Like that I would have sirens, right? Like that I could turn that early advantage into a snowball. Right, like, right, like, whereas, right, like, if you stay on the top side, right, like, you go after Twin Harp, right, like, that's slow. That's all terribly slow. You get underground at like 50, right, like, is normal for that side of play. Like, I was underground even with a slow kill at 35, right, like, if there were sirens underground, right, like, I just rocket forward, right, like, and nothing's a problem again, and there wasn't, and then I started slipping. I started slipping behind. And when I got Moon Axis and there were no sirens there, it's like, okay, right, like, we're just going to have to get really lucky really early. And it didn't pay out.
Yeah,
right?
The luck just never was there because both Fu and Teller was on Tower of Zot.
Ha!
And unfortunately, bgrich had done Tower of Zot, so had that Fu. So it was just that sort of just widened the gap even more because you didn't have that major power tool.
Right. And yeah, I mean, we never got good weapons, but like I said, like that Zeromus kill is exactly the minimum kind of Zeromus kill you can pull off with this party with that gear, right? Like, so like going at Zeromus once I had gotten the Cure 4 on the kid, like I was fine with that. So like again, right, like I just played the seed tight, hoping for the odds to come down that favored me, and they didn't, and that's it. And you can't when you roll a d6 and you lose on a 6 and you roll the 6, you're like, okay, you got me, right? Like,
yeah. And this we said it at the very start, this was do or die. You win this, you're through. You don't, you're not going anywhere. So those gambles, perfectly expected. It's exactly what we wanted to see in this. It's because without those gambles,
it's basically, thankfully, nobody's going to do this again. So you won't see this again the entire week. So You won't have to worry about it again.
We might see someone try something off the wall, but I don't think we're going to see...
Off the wall, sure, but this one, this particular play, I doubt it. You'll see some off the wall stuff, no doubt. I heard that my opponent did, like, rather than dive hook, went for the Zot dip, right? Like,
Yes.
which is bananas, right? Like,
went up the tower of Zot, but checked the boss there, had a look behind, saw Foo, saw Bahamut, so went. If I find the Earth Crystal, I'm going straight back there because I know where Foo is now. And that was.
I mean, that's useful.
If he didn't have that, because that knowledge, it would have been a long time until he went back to that. So that may have sort of.
Yeah, I mean,
even things up a little bit. It's just a game of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes things work out, and sometimes they don't. And just, like I said, you hope when you make the 80% plays and they don't work out. You hate to see it, but that's the game sometimes.
Still really well played, though. I mean, both of you guys had a good play, and I know unfortunately the risks you took didn't pan out, but still, I think we played well.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely nothing to go against you. You are a fantastic runner. You've done very well in this tournament, and too bad that you couldn't get any further than this. But I'm pretty sure that you're happy enough with most of the plays you've made.
I'll be happy enough tomorrow. Right now I'm still in it a little, but it's wearing off. I played Magic competitively for a while. I've got losing experience. Give me a bit. I'll be.
Yeah. But we want to thank you very much for joining the tournament. Do you have any last words about out it before we head out and go somewhere else?
What was with Kane getting the count on that jump? Remember? Kane jumped. He was at 0 or 1, and then because there was nobody alive and nobody on the ground, Plague queued up a count. And he landed, and then he got his count back. Do you remember that at the beginning of the seed?
Apologize, I don't remember that one.
I don't remember.
Go back and watch.
I'm gonna have to look and see that one. That was
legitimately, like, I don't think I'd ever seen Plague queue up a count against an empty screen, come down with Kane, and have it save him. Like, I don't think I'd ever legitimately seen that, but that was my Plague kill was that. So that was the double blue robe was really funny. Yeah, no, there was this seed's got some good moments. But yep, another time.
Yeah, another time, another place. We'll see you again, and good luck for any races in the future.
Yep.
So that is all for this race today. Bahamut, anything to say about everything that's gone on today?
I mean, it's been quite a match tonight. It's been really fun to watch, and thank you so much for commenting with me, Podrak, and thanks to Simbu for restreaming and Maggie for doing our tracking. It's been a fun race.
I'm not entirely certain where we're heading at. We Simbu might have made a decision where we're heading, so hopefully he can just start the raid, and we will head out to someone else playing Final Fantasy 4 Free Enterprise. I believe they'll be doing in bracket frags. It looks like we're going to Invenerable. I do know that he is practicing bracket frags at this moment in time, so go give him a bit of a wave and see what things he does. As for us, we're going to run somewhere else. I'm going to go to bed because, as people know, it's late for me. Bahamut, you can do whatever you want. I'm not the boss of you.
That sounds good. All right, you guys, you have a great night, Podrak, and everyone else have a good night, and see you next time.
Have a good evening, everyone.